white supremacists to attack protesters. So it's so important that we're out here showing Portland the same love that they've shown to the Twin Cities, particularly Hennepin County, with all the murders that has happened in Hennepin County. So we just want to send our love to Portland. Our hearts and our prayers are with you in Portland. To the families and friends of all those who were injured, to our comrade T-Rex, who was murdered by this person who was called a homeowner, but finally changed to the killer and shooter in the narrative, because that's what he is. He is a killer and a shooter. And as I tried to do some research about what was going on there, it's kind of hard to get like the real facts and details because we are not like on the ground in Portland. But I did read something that said this man who came out and shot 5 people, injuring them and fatally killing another person, 6 people who were injured, had been out hanging up Patriot banners around town. So these threats are real. And in our capitalist society, these are allowed to exist because these are the people that don't see real consequences for their actions. And we've seen that across the country. We continue to see people trying to drive into our protests. It happened not long on the other side of this plaza. But we know that the government, local governments, national governments don't hold these people accountable. And what we have seen is people having protection for doing these things, right? We've seen laws passed that make it legal to drive your car into a protest or attack protesters. But this individual in Portland really took it to another level, and he is a what? A domestic, homegrown terrorist. And we need to call him what he is. Not just this homeowner. He is a homegrown domestic terrorist shooting into a crowd of unarmed, peaceful protesters. And I have to say, even if they were armed, if they were not peaceful, he had no right to do this. He had no right to do this, and we have to stand in solidarity with Portland and demand justice. So I want to thank Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar for organizing this event. Shout out to TCC for Jay, doing great work ever since Jamar Clark was executed by Minneapolis police. And shout out in heaven to Mel Reeves, who put our group together, who's now gone on to glory. So when we fight, we what?
We win!
When we fight, we what?
We win!
When we fight,
We win!
when we fight,
We win!
that's right. So I'm Monique Colors Doty. I'm a member of Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar, and we are also seeking community control of the police. So you've seen people around with CPAC shirts and sweatshirts. Somehow I never got mine, but I did order that. So shout out to Jess, who's not here for that. But we're doing a lot of great work. And you can always follow the page, Twin Cities Coalition for Justice. There's another page that's specifically dedicated on Facebook to CPAC, as well as a website. So shout out to TCC for J. I want to thank all those who co-hosted this event. Black Lives Matter, Twin Cities Metro, Black Lives Matter Minnesota, Seaway PB, all the other organizations that stand in solidarity with us, Families Supporting Families, On-Site Public Media, CARE Minnesota, and the list goes on. So forgive me if I have left out any of our comrade organizations who stand in solidarity with us. So today it is a brisk day, about 20 degrees, 30-mile-an-hour wind chills or so. Wind. We're cold out here, but you know what? We're not as cold as those that the police and these white supremacists have put into their grave. So we have to keep marching, keep protesting and rallying while we have blood in our veins and call out for justice. So let's just give a shout out to TJ, who's fighting on the other side now. So when I say TJ, you say we love you. TJ!
We love you!
I'm sorry, T-Rex. T-Rex!
We love you!
T-Rex!
We love you!
T-Rex!
We love you!
Portland!
We love you!
Portland!
We love you!
Stay strong, Portland. We're here with you in solidarity, just like you've been with us. You continue to be in our hearts and in our prayers. You know, find us on TCC for J, Black Lives Matter Minnesota, Black Lives Matter Twin Cities Metro, Racial Justice Network, any of our groups who are really out here in the streets. You know, if you want us out here with you in solidarity, just let us know. We may have to check our weather. Y'all got great weather out there. We do not. But this is what we must do for one another. We're just reciprocating. You've given so much to the families and the victims. Here, we're just giving back what we can to you. So thank you. First, on the mic, Ariana, where are you? Oh, you way down there. Okay, Ariana.
Ariana in the house.
Yeah, good shout out to Ariana.
Hi, it's Aria. It's okay. Don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. I just wanted to talk a little bit about our own instance of this happening in Minneapolis, where white supremacy feels the ability to go ahead and kill people who are fighting against injustice. Last summer, after Winston Smith was murdered in Uptown, Deanna Marie was murdered as a result of building community. I was there that night with a select few group of people. We built community in a unique way. I work with kids primarily, and I had a volleyball in my car. And so we started playing games in the street because it was something to do around building community and getting to know each other more. And unfortunately, that volleyball game turned into resulting in a death, which it's still like jarring in my mind to think back to that day. And the people I know who were there feel similarly. To experience that reverberation after fighting for somebody who was murdered at the hands of a system that's supposed to protect you doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no correlation that you can make sense of that in your mind. Being there that night as the result of the white supremacists driving through the barricades we had made, the police arrived not moments later just to yell at us. They came out with bats and their spray. And it was jarring, honestly, to have people there, because the minute it happened, we all looked around. The medics quickly took action, but we knew that there was nothing that we could do, because we're not going to call the police. We're here protesting and building community against a white supremacist system. We're not going to call the police, but we have to make sure the people who were injured and then injured further got the aid they needed. It doesn't make a lot of sense to not build community in those situations. I think for all of us who spend time on the ground regularly, building community is like the key thing you can do, because in an event like that, you need to know who the people around you are so that you can work together to potentially save the lives of others. In both of these instances, both here and in Portland, it's really unfortunate that a person was murdered as a result of, one, building community, two, protesting a murder by the white supremacist system. But we have to keep coming back. Coming back and standing in community is the only way that we'll end up beating against this system. It's crazy because this system is so deeply entrenched. Like Monique was just talking about, the people who work in the U.S. government, it all funnels down in systems of white supremacy, no matter how you slice or dice it. If you're not with it, you're against it. We all know this. I don't have a lot to say that's totally revolutionary, but until the systems of white supremacy and capitalism in this country go down, nothing else will go down, and we're going to keep coming out. So fighting in those arenas against capitalism and white supremacy is how we're going to stop having to come together under these horrible circumstances. Solidarity with Portland.
Solidarity with Portland.
Thank you for that. Also, I really appreciate what you're saying, because I was reading a comment from someone who was a friend of T-Rex, and this individual was just saying how they'll never forget holding her, having her blood on their hands, and the trauma of that moment. You know, and my heart just broke and continues to break for them. So what I'd like you to do, if you go on Facebook and you put in, like T-Rex, put in her name, you can find some posts will pop up from her friends and people that she knows. And it would be so nice if you could just send them a message of love and solidarity and strength from Minnesota. It's just beautiful, such beautiful tributes that I found for T-Rex. So I think that's something that we can do here, right? For the viewers who are on our side, there's also like a memorial page for her that some people are putting together. I didn't ask to join the group, but I sent a message, and you can do that also, right? Just stay strong and send love and show true solidarity by reaching out. So I do really appreciate you so humanizing that moment when a life is tragically and needlessly taken. So thank you so much for that. We have another song. Come on up with your Dante Wright. Come on up. This is true solidarity. So here in Minnesota, we know what recently happened was Kim Potter got a slap on the wrist. 2 years for the murder of Dante Wright. 1/3 of that time to be served under supervised conditions. What does that mean? Is she going to be at home? Probably so. Supervised. So it's absolutely ridiculous. So we just stand with the Wright family. But we also have to remember how important it is to fight because it took a lot of fighting. There are people who were arrested, people who were injured by the SWAT that came out of the militarized force of the police, and all the work that was done, even to move Dante Wright's case from Washington County with Pete Orput, who has not charged with 3 other cases of police homicide, Jaffer Smith, Marcus Golden, and there was another man who was killed by police in Woodbury. He was a hostage. He was running away. He was running white black, and he was killed, and Washington County, Pete Orput did not charge that officer. So shout out to Nikema Levy Armstrong, Racial Justice Network, that organized direct actions to Pete Orput's house, right? So we were able to squeeze a little bit of justice out the system. It's not what we wanted, but it's more than most of the people in the country have gotten. So we do have to celebrate that, see the glass as half full as opposed to half empty. And we'll continue to say all our loved ones and families that have died at the hands of police when we're in the streets, so their names will never die, and then we'll add T-Rex to that list as well. So, hey, okay, are you going to speak from Anti-War Committee? Okay, Anti-War Committee. Love Anti-War Committee. Should have named them, and those who are out in solidarity, always doing great work, always standing up for endless wars, and just coming out, standing with us against police brutality and homicides. So thank you so much for being out here.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so I'm with the Anti-War Committee. I don't have a prepared statement or anything like that, but the AWC is a member of the TCC for J Coalition, and we've been here since the beginning, mostly in solidarity and just trying to offer support. Wearing a lot of these vests, trying to keep people safe, and it's been really disheartening to see, there's nothing else to call it but the rise of fascism in this country. And if we think that this is going anywhere anytime soon, I can't believe that it is, because what we've seen again and again and again is that as these attacks on our movement come, the police basically condone the behavior. There was a protest recently where a car drove through the crowd, told the crowd that's what he was going to do, and then drove through the crowd. And the police's response was, well, they shouldn't have been there. And I have been at a lot of protests in the last few years. We've always been, like a peaceful group, and then someone comes up and attacks us, and we're told that we're the problem. And I just want to say, you are not the problem. You are the solution to the problem. And being here is important, not just to show Portland our solidarity because they are going through this right now because they've been standing with us, but also to show that we will not be intimidated by these attacks. We will not be silenced. We will not be terrorized by people who think that they're allowed to do this because the police basically condone the behavior. And I want to say from the bottom of my heart to our friends in Portland that I can't imagine that the trauma of having been there that night, but I know that too many people in this city have been there, and seen that for themselves and been, pushed into, driven into by cars, spit on by people who are trying to get us sick, attacked by the police and the counter protesters. And I'm not backing down, because I know that the right thing to do is to stand up for justice, and we're not going to be intimidated by people who think that they can use violence to stop us. All right? We want community control of the police, because these people who were there in Portland, they were waiting for the police to come and help. They needed I want to live in a society where I can call an ambulance and expect those people to help me if I am in trouble. If someone is using a gun at a protest and someone is hurt, I should be able to ask for help. And the only way that we're going to have that, the only way that's ever going to be the case, is if we have community control of the police, if the police are held accountable for the things that they do. And I have to say, like, it's so important for people to show up at protests like this. Yeah, it's cold. And yeah, it's a little scary to be, to be on the receiving end of such hatred and such violence. But we can't back down, because this is the right thing to do. And if people want the protest to stop, then we need some fucking justice. That's gonna be the thing that makes the protest stop. Driving into protests with cars isn't gonna make us stop. Coming and showing up with guns to try to scare us isn't gonna make us stop. We will grow. We will form greater union. We will show our solidarity across this country. And just speaking for myself, like, you aren't gonna stop me. You're not gonna stop me from showing up, and I won't be scared away. And I won't be told that we're wrong, when all we are asking for is accountability when police do something wrong, and to live in a society where I can walk up to someone who I need, to a police officer when I need help, and say, please come help these people who are in danger and who are hurt, without feeling like those are the people who are going to end up getting arrested. They show up, people show up to break up a fight, and then the people who are breaking up the fight, that's who's getting arrested. And it's really obvious, it's really blatant which side the police force is on. You've got these, you've got these chat rooms that they're in where the police are telling people how to get away with stuff like this. And I just want to say that, like, from Minneapolis to Portland, like, I stand in solidarity. I appreciate that they have shown up for us again and again, and we will continue to show up for them. It doesn't matter how cold, and it doesn't matter how many people show up with hatred on their faces to try and push us back. We're gonna do the right thing. We're gonna get justice. And I'm just glad to be here today with all of you who won't back down and who won't be intimidated. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We can't stop, we won't stop. And we know that Portland has a long history of activism and protest, and we know that they will rebuild, regroup, and continue to get out in the streets and fight. I'm told that Portland has kind of a different history where, like, it's generational, right? It's like parents, grandparents, children, like, they kind of pass the torch on, and it's very strongly rooted in the Portland community, the activism and the protest. So we appreciate that. We love the tenacity and the continued fight that we see from Portland, and we know that they will continue to fight. I'm also told that the protest was organized by a woman whose son had been killed by police in Portland. I want to give a shout out to Nico for bringing that up to me. Unfortunately, I can't remember the guy's name.
Patrick Kimmons.
Patrick Kimmons? Okay, so Patrick Kimmons. His mother, it appears that she has really kept the fight going in Portland. So when I say Patrick, you say Kimmons. Patrick! Kimmons. Patrick! Kimmons. Patrick! Kimmons. Patrick! Kimmons. And shout out to his mother for the work that she does and doing in that community. Our prayers are with her. She was one of the organizers of that rally as well. This is just, solidarity and love to all stolen lives and the families there. I've not seen where any of the names of the other people are released or any details of their injuries. It just says that they were injured, but we know this man had a gun. From looking at posts on Facebook, I was able to see someone saying that the police were interfering and that they did not want the victims to receive help from the paramedics. We know that that's not a unique situation, right? There was an individual during the George Floyd uprising who was shot in the head with a rubber bullet. And if you've ever seen a rubber bullet, there's nothing rubbery about it. You know, it's just a word that's used to mislead people. It's a large bullet, and they are hard, and they injure people. This person was shot in the head, and some people who were there actually heard that on the scanners that the police had canceled the ambulance. And eventually some people who were there carried her into the car and took her to aid themselves, right? So this is what happens. We have the police system in which there is very little, if any, accountability on any level, right? So they are working hand in hand. Remember that chant? The police and the Klan go hand in hand? We haven't said that one in a while. The police and the Klan go hand in hand. The police and the Klan go hand in hand. The police and the Klan go hand in hand. That's why this man felt that he could go out of his home and become an active shooter into a crowd of peaceful demonstrators, because the police and the Klan worked hand in hand. So we have to keep an eye on that situation and see what happens to this man after he's taken the life of such a beautiful soul. And like I said, we don't know the condition of the other 5 people that were injured at all. I want to say thank you, shout out. I'm going to get out the way. I want you to really, if you can, zoom in and see all of the signs that we have up here. I really appreciate that people took time to make signs, and people took the time to make the signs on such short notice. Again, this was an emergency response rally. It is super cold out here, but we were born for this. Look at this, Minneapolis and Portland, love and solidarity. From Minneapolis and Portland, we will not be intimidated. You can't stop the revolution. That's a DJ favorite. Right? You can't stop the revolution. 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 That's right. I don't hit it quite like DJ. He got a little more off in it, like you can't stop the revolution. That's DJ. I'm too old to have that kind of energy. I'll be falling asleep on these steps, so I do that. So, but I love these signs. Thank you so much for making those. I hope they're getting this message across to them of love and solidarity from Minnesota to Portland. And we'll continue to follow that situation. We're not going to be out here long, so we should close. Do we have someone who wants to do the Asada chat and close us out? This is a real short program here.
Oh, good.
Huh? Oh.
Who's doing it? All right, Kelly. Listen. All right, Kelly.
Fist up in the air.
Listen.
It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. We have nothing to lose but our chains.
That I can.
We have nothing to lose but our chains. We have nothing to lose but our chains. All power to the people.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you for coming out. Drive safely. Get ready to hunker down. We got a storm coming. So you are the best. Thank you so much for coming out and standing in solidarity, Minnesota to Portland.
Hold up.
All right, y'all. Thank you for joining. This is Nico from Unicorn Riot. We were live here in downtown Minneapolis, where a few dozen folks have gathered to show solidarity with Portland after the attack on the Portland protesters that left 1 dead and 5 others injured. They were rallying for Amir Locke, who was killed by Minneapolis police last 2 weeks ago, February 2nd, during a no-knock raid. Check out unicornriot.ninja for more information. Thank you so much, Alex, for running the back end. You can bring us down.
Raise your hands to ask questions, but that I can. Feel free to raise your hands to ask questions, but frankly, I'm going to give you everything that I can give you in these brief updates, and I probably will not have an answer for you for your questions. To begin with, I would like to talk real quick about an incident that happened this last Thursday. Members of the new focused intervention team were out patrolling, and they tried to stop a car that began driving erratically and took off from them. An officer tried to deploy stop sticks, which are meant to flatten tires, on the on-ramp to ID4 at 39th. And as the vehicle went by, someone in the vehicle started shooting at the officer. Fortunately, the officer was not injured. And the vehicle was later apprehended in Washington. So I wanted to thank our partners up in Washington, and also thank the officers that are showing up every day. I think this might be the 3rd time our officers have been shot at in 6 months, and it's a little dangerous for them, but they're still showing up. They still want to make a difference in the community. So that happened last Thursday. Can everyone hear me okay, by the way? Okay. Second incident I want to talk about. So just before 7 p.m. at around 6:45 last night, officers were dispatched to the 900 block of Southwest Broadway Drive. And they were dispatched to a disturbance call. But before they got there, while they were still en route, they were updated by radio that there were shots being fired. So officers showed up, they set up a perimeter, and they began to investigate and address the apartment that they were told a suspect might be in. During the course of this investigation, an officer-involved shooting happened. Officers had previously put in an order to shelter in place, and they were able to lift that after the officer-involved incident. It's tragic for everyone involved, but it's something we're still working through here. So around that same time, across town, so although that incident started at 6:45, it took a while to progress. Officers in North Precinct got a call in the area of 55 in Haslow that there had been a shooting. They showed up and found that 1 female was deceased and 5 others were injured by gunfire. And that was a very chaotic scene, from what I'm being told. There were a lot of people there, but there weren't a lot of people who wanted to talk with police. And detectives believe there are quite a few people who either witnessed the incident or recorded it on video. And so they are asking, please, 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 if you know something, if you saw something, or if you recorded it, please give it to them, because they are trying to put together a very complex puzzle without all the pieces, and they need the community's help. And so, yeah, a lot of people left without talking with police, and that's one way we help solve crime, is with the help of the community. So 3 very intense, very critical incidents, and we're doing our best to address it. The chief is fully aware of all this, and so is the mayor, and we are keeping them informed as things go along. One thing I did not mention was The preliminary investigation of the shooting at 55 and Haslow is that there was a confrontation between an armed neighbor and armed protesters, and that makes it very complicated, very intricate incident that we are still working through. So that is what I have. If you have any questions for me, please ask. Again, I believe I've given you everything I have. I know a number of news agencies are contacting me and saying, hey, neighbors at the officer involved said someone came out and was shooting. I can't confirm that. I don't know. We're at the very beginning stages of the investigation, and there's a lot that goes into it. So I think first is Alex. Do you have a question? And do I need to, let me see.
Yeah, I think I'm unmuted. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is just regarding the Haslow shooting. Has anyone been arrested tied to that incident, either last night on the scene or during investigations following up?
So, like I mentioned, it very complicated, very intricate, and as we learn more, things change. At this point, I cannot comment on. It would be irresponsible of me to comment on arrests that were made, if any. Is that your question, Alex? You are muted. Okay. So now I think, I believe, Francis, Lynn, did you have a question? Okay, I'm going to click a button and I think you'll be able to talk here. Okay.
Yes, thank you. So my question is about the second incident you mentioned on Southwest Broadway. I know you said there's not a lot of information you can give, but you said an officer-involved shooting happened. Is it possible to get any more detail, like what happened, what led to the shooting, why did it happen?
Really, it very complicated and started off with what sounds like a completely separate incident, a disturbance call that may or may not have been related. We really have very few details at this point, and detectives, investigators are doing their best to work through it to find out more. I'm sorry, Francis, you're muted now. Okay, it looks like is Megan Allison, I think you are next. I cannot hear you for some reason.
How about now? Okay. Yeah, to start, I would love to follow up on what Alex was asking in the chat as well. How come you're not able to share information surrounding the arrest, given the Haslow incident?
You know, it is very complicated, and we never release victim information, and things are changing constantly in this investigation, so I just cannot release any information.
Do you believe there's still a risk to the public in that area?
You know, I mean, there are a lot of guns in our city. You know, and there are a lot of responsible gun owners. There are also people who are not as responsible. So can I definitively say there is no danger? No. We're people with free will.
How would you respond to people that may be concerned that there's a suspect on the loose, that there could be continued gun violence?
You know, I don't have enough information right now to answer to that. I can say the city leaders, the Portland Police Bureau, we're doing what we can to address the problem. And we are just as shocked and as saddened by what's going on. We know it's going to get better, but it will take some time. Okay, I think April, you are unmuted now.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. With regards to the thing that happened on Broadway, you say an officer-involved shooting happened. Can you clarify what that phrase means? Did an officer shoot a person, and did that person die from shots fired by a police officer?
Yes, the way I understand it, the facts are that officers shot an individual, and that individual is deceased. Connor, I think you are next and have been unmuted.
Great, thank you. So for the people that were shot near Normandale Park, were all of them protesters, or was one of the people that was shot, was that the shooter himself?
Yeah, that information I do not have, and if I had it, I probably could not give it out, but I just don't know that. Lizzie, you're unmuted.
Thank you. Yeah, I asked these questions in the chat and I emailed them to you, but I went out to the Broadway View condos and spoke with a bunch of people who live there, and they said that the police shot and killed a person, and that person was lying out in front of their condo area for quite some time. I'm wondering if you can tell us how long that person was out there. And also, the second question I have is, there was several bullet holes visible from where I was, plus I think more because there was labeled A, B, and E. And the neighbors all seemed pretty convinced that those were bullets from police guns, but they weren't sure of that. And I'm wondering if you know who fired shots at the Broadway View, if it was the suspect or if it was police.
So two things I think you're asking. One is about the body being laying there as long as it did, and I don't have an answer to you. One thing I can say is that detectives and investigators have one chance to do the best job that they can do. And so sometimes evidence has to stay where it is so that they can take photographs, take 3D images, and get a full picture of what happened. Sometimes they don't even know questions they have to ask yet until they do a big overview first and then go to each individual place. So unfortunately, there are times where evidence of an incident like this, it has to be there for a while. Unfortunately, sometimes when people are shot at scenes, their bodies have to be there for a while so that we can get the best picture and collect the best evidence of what occurred. The second thing you're asking, that one, it's hard to say because from my understanding, there was shooting that occurred before police officers arrived. They got the update that someone was shooting a gun. And so, you know, it's too early in the investigation for me to answer those questions there on the bullet strikes. Michael, you are unmuted.
Hi, yeah, I apologize if this is repeating Alex's question, but just to be clear, you cannot confirm that even whether there's been an arrest in the Normandale shooting. And if that's the case, could you maybe give us a timeline of when you might be able to tell us whether there's been an arrest or not?
You know, I can't give you a timeline simply for the fact that, like, the detective sergeant had been up for 35 hours the last I talked to him. The investigators are exhausted. They go from incident to incident, just like our officers answering 911 calls. So I'm not able to talk with them at all the times I would like to because detectives are up at all hours of the day. So I cannot comment on that, and I don't know when I will be able to release any more. I apologize. Jamie Goldberg, I think you're unmuted.
Thank you. In terms of the shooting in the Southwest Hills, I had a couple questions there. You mentioned that there were shots fired before officers arrived. Can you confirm whether the shots fired were by the person who fired those shots was the same person that police later shot and killed? Whether that person ever fired at police, and can you also say how many police discharged their weapons?
Yeah, So all I can do on several of those is guess, and I don't like to guess without having a lot more of the information. There were a number of witnesses on the scene when officers arrived who directed officers to where the shooter was. I think that's the best I can do in answering your question there. The other questions, I don't have enough information to answer. And they sound like questions I wouldn't be able to answer anyway, even if I did know.
You guys usually report how many officers discharge their weapons and.
Oh, sure. Yeah, the last I heard, it was at least one and possibly two, but the investigation was still going at the time, and the investigators are now getting some rest. So one, possibly two officers, I don't know definitively. I think that the Zoom actually is going to end here in 2 minutes. Was there one last question anyone had? Go ahead, Gail.
Yes, thank you. We understand that prior to this weekend, there were about 15 people who were killed in Portland homicides. 14 of those were shootings. I don't know if those numbers are exactly right, but we are hoping to get the new adjusted total for Portland homicides this year, 2022, and how many people were killed in shootings.
Right, that sounds right to me. You know, it is the weekend now, so things change rapidly over the weekend sometimes, and I am not always updated exactly, but I believe we are at 15 homicides, 14 of them being shooting homicides, and just over 203 shooting incidents with 50 people injured in shootings. So, you know, for the first month and 20 days, it's been challenging for the city of Portland. So I want to thank you all, and I will do my best to learn more, to get more from you. It's been a very busy weekend, and I imagine more information will be forthcoming, and I'll try to get as much to you as I can. I believe it's important for you guys to know what we know. Sometimes to protect investigations, we have to be a little slower with that information, but I'm going to try to get you what I can. So thank you, and I hope you have a good rest of your Sunday.
What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Morning. I hope you guys' this day has been going good. I don't know, guys. Like I said, I don't know. I'm just not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. Like I said, I don't know. This is gonna be a non-stop fucking process. Like I'm not gonna feel good for this whole entire week. It's bad. I feel like shit. Like I woke up today just like with a heavy ass fucking stomach. Like I don't know, man. This shit's really getting to me. I don't know. What's up, Marianne? How am I holding up? I'm not holding up too good. I'm completely honest with you guys. Like, I'm not holding up too good. And, like, I'm still spiraling about this shit. And it's just like, I can't have a moment of peace without people fucking with me either. You know what I mean? Like, the first night I vented about this shit, someone literally just went and screen recorded that whole fucking live. For whatever reason. I don't know why. They just did it. They screen recorded the whole live for whatever fucking reason when I was venting. I don't know why. I don't know why these people pay attention to me so damn much. Seriously, I don't. I really don't. Like, what's the point of screen recording me for an hour? I don't understand that. What do you gain off of that? What do you gain off of screen recording me for an hour? Seriously, views, is that what it is? Because you're not making money. You're not going to make any money screen recording me, you know what I mean? Like, you're not going to get any money. I mean, if it's for jokes, I mean, dude, if they wanted to laugh so bad, they could come on here and laugh and get their ass trolled. But I don't get that. I don't get it. And I'm probably being screen recorded right now, for all I know. I'm probably being screen recorded right fucking now, because I just don't have privacy anymore, yo. Like, seriously, I haven't been doing this protest stuff in forever, and these people don't want to leave me alone. They don't ever want to leave me alone. They don't ever want to leave me alone. These people will literally watch me till the day I die for whatever reason. I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know what it is. It's crazy. That's crazy. That's I don't know what it is. That's obsession. That's like, I don't know. It's crazy. How are you going to sit there and screen record me? How? Why? What's the fucking point? What do you get out of that? What do you get out of that? And I hope that's not Mary Todd who did that again. Like, I swear to God, if that's Mary Todd reposting shit again, oh God, that's terrible. Because, I mean, I already have Andy No trying to repost stuff from last year. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, these people have nothing to post about, so they'll just go and recycle the same BS. They will go and recycle the same BS because they can't come up with anything new. But then when they come up with something new, you know, it's the most weirdest, most, I don't know, like, the information is not even correct half the fucking time when they try to report on shit. Most of the time, their information's off. It's so off. It's so off. I don't even know why these people try to report on something that they're never there for. These people are so shitless and scared. They're not there to film that shit. How are you going to report on something that you've never seen? That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense. How are you going to report on something that you've never seen? And Andy, no, I find it also funny that you have a fucking pride flag on your fucking Twitter account. You have never been to a pride march in your life, bruh. You don't even support them, bro. You don't even support. Like, what the fuck? Why do you have a gay pride flag on your Twitter, bro? You've never been to a pride march. You have never been to a pride march. You don't support those people, bro. That's just some bullshit, bro. That's some bullshit, bro. Straight up. These people just like to act like they're with everything. They like to act like they're about peace and love. They like to act like, dude, literally everything that they post is about fucking violence. Everything that they post about is about violence, bro. There is no peace and love with anything that they post. Any of the comments related to their posts is violent and vulgar. Nothing but fucking, I wish they were dead. I wish that this happened. If I was there, I would have killed them. If I was there, blah, 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 blah. Like, dude, that's all that these chuds care about. Like I said, I've seen so many comments. I've watched so many videos of chuds just literally just like preparing in their fucking backyard with their guns being like, you better arm up, brother. You better arm up, brother. Like, dude, that's what you want to feed people. That's what you want your kids to see. You want your kids to see you like that. You want, oh man, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. This is why I never want to have kids, man. I never want to have kids because I don't want to bring them into a world that's just so fucking twisted, yo. Like, bringing them into a world where people are just having self-identity issues and shit like that, man. Man, I cannot. I don't know, man. I can't believe half the shit that these people are saying. Like, seriously. They wish that we got ran over. They wish that we were all fucking dead. They say this shit. And they want to call themselves Christians. They want to call themselves peaceful people. But yet they wish death upon a whole crowd. They wish death upon a whole crowd. When there's an incident, when one person dies, they laugh about it and wishes it was the whole crowd. They wish it was the whole crowd. Not just one person. They wish it was the whole fucking crowd. This is how sick they are. You're sick. You're fucking sick. If you want a whole crowd to be dead, you're sick. You're fucking sick. in the fucking head. Go get some fucking help. That's sickening. If you want a whole fucking crowd of people dead, you're sick. You're sick. Absolutely fucking sick. And of course, I don't know, for whatever reason, people want to use me as the catalyst. They want to use me as the face. Why? Again, I haven't been a part of this shit in so long. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing music. I'm doing NFT art. I'm doing my own fucking thing. These people really want to try to still fuck with me. I still get messages of, oh, I have your address, dude. I have your address, bro. Oh my God, you have my address, bro. What are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do, bro? Come get me, bro. I'm here. I'm here, bro. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do, bro? I'm here. Always been here. What the fuck are you gonna do? You guys are all fucking talk, man. Chuds are all fucking talk. They don't do anything. If you're gonna do something, bro, go for it. But, dude, whenever you guys try to do something to me, one, it gets filmed. Two, you don't even pull through with it. You don't. God, man. I don't know. But yeah, recently I just been getting a lot of threats. Just, like, it would be like every hour of the day I'd be getting threats. And it's just like, bro, I don't care. I'm numb, dude. I don't care about what you guys say. You're just a person on the internet, bro. You're an NPC, bro. You're an NPC. You're a fucking non-playable character in my world, bro. You're not gonna do shit. What is you gonna do? You're not gonna do shit, bro. I'm still gonna be sitting here talking, bro. Not gonna do shit to me. Like, seriously, yeah, it's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous, you know? It's ridiculous. I don't know. And it's just like, I don't know why I'm being stalked. Like, I'm always being watched by these fucking chuds whenever I go live or whenever I post something. These chuds are just 24/7 just watching me, bro. Watching me. They ain't got nothing better to do. They just want to watch me. They, for whatever reason. Like I said, stalking for them is just a big turn on. I don't fucking know. Black Zebra. I mean, I've heard stuff about Black Zebra. I mean, have you guys seen what happened in Washington with that one journalist? I mean, they were having a flag wave event, and then just, you know, a person with a camera was just walking up, and then he asked if they were having an event. And of course, the guy was wearing an American flag with the Congress written on it, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, no, we're not having an event, blah, 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 blah. And he was like, are you sure you're not having an event? Because, I mean, I see you guys waving flags and stuff like that. And he's like, no, we're not having an event. And so he's like, okay. And so he keeps going into the event. And the event is on, like, a highway bridge, you know what I mean? And so he keeps walking through the bridge. And then you see Proud Boys walk up in front of him. And immediately he drops the F-bomb. Not the fuck, but the other F-bomb. He drops the F-bomb on him. And then he's like, where do you think you're going? Where do you think you're going? And he has a fucking stick. He has a fucking stick. And he's already assaulting him, slashing, going like this, and just jabbing him. Off the get-go. Off of the get-go. Off of the get-go, yo. Off of the get-go, bro. You're like, seriously. These motherfuckers are just... That was Black Zebra? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, dude. These motherfuckers are on one. They're on one. They want to hurt people. They're out there to hurt people. They're not out there to wave their flags. They're out there to hurt people and make themselves known. There's no other reason why you would be out there in your Proud Boy apparel with your fucking guns, too. I see the guns. You guys got guns. Like, you want to complain about us having guns. You guys been had guns. You guys been had guns. What the fuck you mean? You guys been had guns. And you want to complain about us having guns? You guys been had guns. The fuck? Ugh. Yeah, and hitting the girl too. I've seen so much, yo. I've seen so much shit, and they just want to act like, oh, yeah, they go and break buildings and stuff, and we actually hurt people, so that makes us better. That makes us better because we don't break buildings. That makes us good people. That's their logic. That's their fucking logic. Just because they don't break buildings, they're good people. They can go and beat the shit out of anybody. They can go and kill people, but they're good people, bro. They're good people, man. They're good people. Fuck yeah, dude. Did you know I got ran over by that fucking minivan before I pointed my gun? Let's just make that clear. I hope everybody know I got ran over, dude. I got fucking hit by that fucking minivan. That's why my camera went. I got hit by that fucking minivan. I had every right to defend my fucking self. I had every right to defend myself. I mean, Jesus Christ. And these kids are just like, oh, well, he should have finished the job. Oh, he should have just kept going through the whole entire fucking crowd. They don't ever want to flip it around. They don't ever want to flip it around. What if it was me driving my fucking Forester? You know what I mean? My Tonka? My unstoppable Tonka. Imagine if I was driving my unstoppable fucking Tonka with my boosted turbo and all that good jazz. If I drove through their fucking crowd, you don't think they're gonna beat the shit out of me? You don't think they're gonna shoot me? They won't automatically shoot me. They won't even try to stop my car. They will shoot at me. That'll be their first instinct, is to shoot at me. Their first instinct will be to shoot at me. Not try to stop me. Shoot at me. I got ran over by that fucking car. If the car doesn't even have to touch the tread, they just have to see the car coming in, they would fucking bring their guns up, bro. I'm not joking. But they just want to be like, no, we wouldn't. We don't do that. We're tough boys. We don't do that. I like to see you get hit by a fucking car. I got hit by... You know how many times I've been hit by a car during the fucking protest? I got hit 3 times. 3 occasions where I got hit by a fucking car. 2 of the times were by police. 2. I got hit by a police cruiser 2 times. 1 at the Red House and 1 at... I don't remember what fucking... I don't remember the precinct, but I got hit over there. I think it was the North Precinct. I got hit over there. But I got hit by the police cruisers twice. Armored police cruisers. Like, you people are bitches, bro. You people are bitches. They're bitches. Bitches, bro. Bitches. The fuck? I faced death near death situations so many times. These chuds want to be like, oh, guess what? That shit would have been fine over here. Because I would have been like, blah, 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 blah. That's chud logic. We would have been like, blah, 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 blah. Don't bring that shit over here, because blah, 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 blah. That's the only thing they run towards to is their fucking guns. I swear to God. They worship their guns more than fucking God. They worship their fucking guns more than fucking God. Like, I don't know, man. It's crazy. They want to hate on me, but fuck. They want to hate on me, but people hate on Jesus, man. They called him a fucking tyrant. They called him all sorts of things. I don't give a fuck, man. Go ahead and think what the fuck you want to fucking think. I don't give a fuck. I know who the fuck I am. I know what the fuck I do. I don't give a fuck, man. This is insane, dude. This is insane. And I'm probably being screen recorded. This is insane, man. These people will not. That's all they think about is us, dude. Us. Antifa. Every single day. Like, I don't know. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't know, man. Yeah, I think I need puppy pics too. I just don't know. Like, like I said, like I've read the comments. They just all want the whole they were cheering on that homeowner that shot that fucking person at the protest. I don't want to list names, but they were literally just like, should have been the whole crowd. You know what I mean? Like, their logic is so twisted. Like, they really just want all of us dead for just mourning people dying. Because that's all we've ever done, is mourn from people dying. That's where the anger comes from. That's where it's always came from, is from people dying and injustice. I'm sorry that they don't understand that. I'm sorry that you've never lost a family member from police. I'm sorry that you don't understand injustice. But to want all of us dead, there's something wrong with you. I can see why you can disagree. I don't give a fuck if you disagree, but to actually go out and kill us, to actually go out and stalk us, to actually go out and dox us, you are afraid. You're a fucking coward. You're a fucking coward. What's up, Lefty? Yeah, I know. This past couple days have just been fucking hard. Like I said, I'm going through it this whole week. I know I'm gonna be thinking about this shit this whole week. Is like, it's nonstop. It's everywhere on fucking Twitter. It's still blowing up on Twitter everywhere. Like, it's just bad. And Letha, you know, she's gonna go live later and she's gonna talk about this, but it's just like, nah, I don't know what I would do if I was in her shoes. You know what I mean? Like, well, I do understand, because like, I do understand partly because, you know, I've been a part of that march for a long time, but it's just like, man, I don't know. I hope she's doing good, you know, like, it's so shitty, man. It's just too much fucking trauma. It's too much trauma for, like, all the shit that we've been through. It's so much fucking trauma. How's Letha? I don't know how she's holding up. She's strong. She's still going, but you know what I mean? But it's just like, there's always so much that people can handle, yo. There's always so much that people can fucking handle, yo. Like, especially if you lost your son, you know what I mean? Especially when you lost your own son. I don't know how she's still going. I mean, if it were, like I said, if I was in her shoes, I don't know what I would do right now. If I know I lost my kid and shit like that, and I hustled and I've been trying to gather a community that wants to support, you know, Black lives and to stop injustice from happening, and then to have all this stuff happen, you know, almost being ran over, having guns being pulled on us, and then actually being shot at. Like, there's only so much people can handle. Like I said, there's so many occasions where these people just want us dead. They have been wanting us dead. And they don't see that. They don't fucking see how many times that they tried to fucking kill us. There's a reason why peaceful protests have fucking armed security. It's because you don't know how many fucking times these people have tried to kill us. These people try to kill us all the fucking time. All the fucking time they try to kill us. That's all they do. That's all they prep for. That's all they do in those fucking backwoods, is to try to fucking prepare to kill us. Even though we're Americans, they want to kill Americans. They don't give a fuck about people who care about lives. They don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't give a fuck if they have an all lives matter shit. That's a lie. It's a facade. It's to hide the fact that they want to kill people that care about people. It's just facts. They want to kill Americans, okay? They don't want to admit it. They want to kill Americans. They want to kill Americans with the opposition. Period. That's just facts. Okay, there's no hiding that. You want to kill Americans with the opposite disposition. That's just facts. We're Americans at the end of the fucking day, whether you like it or not. We just don't agree with fucking cop violence and all this other bullshit happening and why people should just be dying left and right. But you guys want people dying left and right. You guys cherish that shit. You love it. You get off on that fucking shit. Like I said, I don't get how. You're not human. You're not fucking human. That's why we call you fucking chuds. Only chuds want people dead. Only chuds want a fucking whole crowd of people being ran over. Only chuds want fucking people to be shot to death. Only chuds want to beat the shit out of people just because they like the opposite sex. Or the same sex, you know what I mean? Only chuds do that shit. What's a chud? Chud is a cannibal humanoid underground dweller. It came from a 1980s movie. But basically the worst type of thing you can ever imagine, you know what I mean? They just don't give a fuck. They don't give a fuck. They're just people with no heart. They just only follow whatever they follow and whatever their friends tell them, basically. You know what I mean? They're only about their inner circle. They're only about their inner circle, and that's it. If you speak upon outside their inner circle, they will come after you. They will try to dox you. They'll try to get your information out there. They'll do anything possible to ruin your fucking life. That's what they do. That's Proud Boys for you. That's the 3%ers for you. That's every fucking right extremist group out there for you. In a nutshell. They will use all your information, all that good shit against you. Just because you don't agree that cops are fucking bad people or cops kill fucking people. They don't want to acknowledge that. Shit, half of them think that the Holocaust was fake. That's why we call them fucking Nazis too, because they say some fucking extremist shit. Yo, they all say some extremist shit. I remember when Tiny was talking shit about Jewish people. Fucking Tiny Toes was talking shit about Jewish people. He was denying the Holocaust at one point in that conversation. I can't with those people, man. I can't, man. I don't see their logic. Just evil, bro. It's evil, and they want to shroud it with fucking Christianity and the Bible. It's evil, bro. It's so evil. How are you gonna shove the Bible in my face and be like, this is what I believe in, but you know what? I don't like you. That's stupid. You're not a holy man. You probably never been to fucking church, and if you're ever at church, it's just because you want fucking trouble with other people. I think that's just facts. It's just fucking facts. And Christianity ain't what it used to be 50 years ago. Christianity is totally flipped. It ain't the same. It ain't about respecting thy neighbor anymore. It's not. I haven't heard that phrase in forever in Christianity. Ever since I was a kid, I haven't heard that phrase ever again. That shit was tossed out the window, yo. These motherfuckers want to act like it's the Old Testament days where you're immediately punished when you do something wrong. They believe that God is a fucking... I don't know, man. I just... Like I said, these people just let this shit get to their fucking head. They let this shit get to their fucking head too much, to the point where they just forget about humanity. They forget about humanity. They completely forget about humanity. And like I said, the only people that they care about is their inner circles. Their inner circles and their echo chambers that they keep echoing through. Now, what's up, Phil? Yeah, seriously, I agree. I totally agree. And I don't know why I just... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, guys. I just feel bad for Black Zebra because he got assaulted straight up. I don't know if you saw, I'm pretty sure you saw. I'm pretty sure you saw. But yeah, Black Zebra got assaulted a couple days ago, and that pissed me off. Oh man. Hold on. Where's my other phone? Like, I love religion, you know what I mean? It does change people for the right thing, you know what I mean? It's just... people twist that shit all the time, too. It's been in history. That's why there's been crusades and shit like that. Where's my other phone? I gotta find it. Yeah, and that's the thing. I don't know why they go after females, too. I don't know why they go after females so much. I never understood that. Yeah, I agree that there's a difference between believing in the higher power and church. Yeah, there's a big difference. Because like I said, how many times has the Bible been revised? Too many times in history. The Bible's been revised too many times in history. You want to know what the Bible original name was? The Book of Enoch. That's what the Bible's original name was, the Book of Enoch. But then that got changed. And the Book of Enoch is illegal here in America. I wonder why. I wonder why. Seriously, look it up. The Book of Enoch. Look it up. That was the Bible before the Bible. Well, you probably can't look it up. Like I said, it's illegal here in America. But yeah, there's people who tell stories about it and shit like that if you look it up on YouTube. I mean, I personally don't fully believe in the Book of Enoch, but it's interesting to look up. It's interesting to expand your knowledge. But yeah, I just felt like I just wanted to say what's up this morning and just...
All right. It solve a lot of problems.
But it is a yardstick. It's just that I'm holding it. Okay, so Polytex, because you make money if we watch here. That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah, so by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're watching for free. If you're watching this on Rumble, you're still watching us for free, but we get paid for you watching us on Rumble. So yeah, the faster we can just migrate everybody over to Rumble, the better. Also, pro tip, you get long form content like the Ben Shapiro stuff, some of our shows, any of the Daily Wire, Blaze, Crowder, all that stuff, where they do some videos that you want to watch sometimes, but by and large, what they're doing is talk radio. And for a lot of what they're doing, it's just as good if you're just listening to it, like, say, for instance, while you're driving. Well, if you want to hit play on a YouTube video and then just listen to the audio, unless you're paying for the upgraded YouTube service, you can't close the app. So you can't, like, for example, put your phone up on the holder so that you can use the Maps app or whatever to navigate while listening to something. Or you have to throw it in the seat and just let it play on YouTube. Rumble doesn't charge you for that. If you're watching those same videos, almost all of them are on Rumble as well. If you use the Rumble app, you can close the app and keep listening to whatever you're listening to and do your maps or whatever. So, for real, guys, it's time to evacuate YouTube. We're going to stay on YouTube and continue to try to grow an audience on YouTube, mostly so that we can peel people off of YouTube. That said...
Well, I'll reference Rush Limbaugh again, okay? AM radio was was effectively dead. AM radio was what your local town had, so you could hear about the local swap shops and when the local firefighters were doing a charity drive for the March of Dimes.
Right.
And Rush changed all that, which is impressive. So, anyhow, but I watched Polytech last night, and if I had known that they get money for watching on Rumble, I would have watched on Rumble. Instead, I watched on YouTube. And Alex was hysterical last night. I'm nervous about repeating some of the things that he said that cracked me up.
Yeah, we had a good time on Polytech last night.
But when he started out with injecting crack, which, if you don't know, it's not something you can do with crack. But when he started out with injecting crack and going from there, it was hysterical. So go check our friends over at Polytech out.
And hey, look, that's awesome. Just from telling you guys some things. A suspect in custody.
Would be. Apparently, he's a very poor assassin.
Yes. He missed.
Or
I mean, not that I'm endorsing the assassination of a Democrat mayor by a Democrat activist, but son, if you're going to do something, do it right.
Well, remember we had the story about a month ago where the guy took a gut full of birdshot and somehow survived, and it was like, you can't give that a BRM.
Nope.
Like, God himself came down and said, today is not your day. Like, so this
or more correctly, today is very much your day. It is your day. You own that shit.
Yeah, like that's people are standing around telling stories at a party. That's always going to be the one that wins. That's like being the guy that got attacked by a shark. It's like, yeah, well, I got bit by a shark. I win. I have the coolest story.
Yeah, God came down and he said, and much like Trent Reznor doffing his cap to the man in black, he said, you can have this one.
Yes. Anyhow.
So, Black Lives Matter Louisville defended bailing out Quintez Brown, who allegedly attempted to assassinate Democrat mayoral candidate Craig Greenberg. Now, when they say allegedly, he walked into the office at close range with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun and fired it at the candidate. So when they say allegedly, yes, absolutely innocent until proven guilty. But to be clear, the proof of guilt is a quantity of evidence that is recognizable beyond a reasonable doubt. And yeah, Alex, you're right. He is a mayoral candidate, a Democrat mayoral candidate. Let's not forget to hammer that point real quick, because we are talking about a BLM activist and a Democrat mayoral candidate. And you must never forget that when you're dealing with Marxists and Democrat activists and Democrat, terrorists,
liberals get the bullet too.
The organization's official Twitter account went on a tweeting spree on Thursday, defending their choice to post Brown's $100,000 bail.
Hey, look, just curious. Just curious. January 6th, last year.
Yeah.
How many of those people are alleged insurrectionists?
Under the law?
No. I just mean the media narrative.
Oh yeah, none of them. There's no alleged.
Oh, okay.
It's just like Kavanaugh, guilty until proven innocent.
Obviously I was asking the question for dramatic effect, but
and I'm going to go ahead and cruise down to the mayor's response here. The mayor's the candidate's commentary. Greenberg blasted the criminal justice system as broken in a Thursday statement to reporters, saying it is nearly impossible to believe that someone can attempt murder on Monday and walk out of jail on Wednesday. I haven't done a deep dive into this candidate, but how much do you want to bet he's a pro bail reform, pro criminal justice reform type of guy?
That's possible. That's possible, but I'm also, in my age and experience, I'm also somebody that thinks that doing some changes, as it were, to criminal justice and bail and all that might be appropriate. Alex is also popping up in our chat saying that he was on the Joy Reid show. That's funny. Not The View, the Joy Reid show. Some years ago, advocating for common sense gun control. Which is hysterical because, and okay, anytime you hear the phrase common sense gun control, for starters, we already have dozens and dozens and dozens of gun control laws on the books, and they're not followed.
Right.
They're just not. Okay? Before you pass new gun control laws, how about you follow the ones that are already in place? And follow them absolutely. Now, you're not going to do that because you're going to hurt your own people, your own potential voters, and so forth. But again, I go back to repeal all federal gun laws. It's not working. It's nothing but an infringement on rights. Situations like this, I already know that this was a poor security situation.
Yeah.
And you know why? Because there was a politician.
Because nobody returned fire?
Well, because there was a politician. But we encourage, when you go around politicians, don't be armed. That's the expectation.
Yeah, bullshit.
Look, I'm not saying it's a good idea. I'm not saying it's something I personally practice, okay? But again, up until recently, Marjorie Taylor Greene was my congressional candidate, so the people were armed around Marjorie.
And brother, we may need to do a whole show on Marjorie because she's been saying some stuff lately that's just, she's so on point. Like I can see why they felt the need to smear her and go after her because she is so incredibly on point.
Yes. But I knew this was a poor security situation because there was a politician, and let's be really clear, this was a Democrat politician. So you already know how all of them feel about gun control. So nobody around him was armed. And the only thing that ever stops a bad guy with, not just with a gun, with any weapon, period, is a good guy with a weapon. Period. If you call the police and the police come and they stop the bad guy, it's because the police are wearing armor and carrying weapons.
Correct. They are mediocre guys with weapons.
Look, I'm not knocking cops. I'm just pointing out, okay, that if the rest of us maybe had easier access to armor and weapons, like, it is what it is. Like, anybody that's ever played Dungeons and Dragons or like an RPG, like, video game, it's the first thing you do. You get armor and weapons.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Please believe if I'm ever involved in a self-defense incident and the police arrive to arrest me, they're going to find me kind of kneeling over the body. And they're, what the hell are you doing? And I'm going to look up, I'm like, I'm looting the corpse.
This one only had 4 gold. It's bullshit.
It's bullshit. I'm telling you.
I'm gonna have to surrender my daily carry for this.
Now, I also want to point out, this is just hilarious. So, in response to criticism from people online of BLM supporting someone who just shot at a government employee, BLM corrects them. It was a candidate. Not the guy we bailed out needed support. The group responded to another critic. As the candidate said, the guy we bailed out needed support.
I mean, you know how sometimes...
Actually, the guy we bailed out only shot at a candidate, not a government official, is truly an incredible take, says Colin Anderson. Go you.
I mean, that's not the B.
Not the B.
Anyhow, okay, let me read this one. Applying pressure on the community work to address a huge issue affecting specific community members, Black, brown, and poor folks, is ill-served. You absolutely know what resources folks in the city are demanded to end poverty laws and reduce incarceration rates as well as crime 3.
Okay, just to address this real quick. if an actual goal of BLM is to reduce incarceration rates, one of the first things you should consider is not committing crimes.
Look, and we've talked about this before, about how, like, you and I both think that a good number of the laws that are on the books, like, seriously, should just be thrown away.
Yeah.
Right? Just period. And even the ones that remain crimes, like, we're going to have to really, really, really reevaluate how we want to treat them going forward, okay? But when you try and kill somebody... like, I think we can all say, and this is not one of those, like, this is not a bar fight that got out of control, right?
Right.
This
Murder is the only crime.
Well, no, specifically, this wasn't just an attempted murder. This was an attempted assassination.
An attempted political assassination.
Exactly. Okay. And I used the bar fight thing as an example. This is not somebody that was drunk and picked up a bottle and whacked somebody else.
Yeah, who hadn't beat a Marine over the head with a bar stool for chuckles?
Most of us.
You've missed out.
I'm pretty sure that's aggravated battery, brother. That's how you do 5 years. So I don't think...
No, that's not how that works. You've been hanging out in the wrong bars.
Anyhow.
You don't want to go drinking with a bunch of litigious bitches. They get all butthurt about little things like cuts and scrapes and broken bones.
Yeah, that's...
Sack up, sweetheart.
Yes. Dave Bowen says shooting mayoral candidates should stay on the books. And yeah, that's... I think that's a fair point. I think that's a fair point. But, okay, all jokes aside, like... This was an assassination attempt, okay? This is so clearly a crime. And even if they want to say, oh, well, he's got mental health issues. Okay, fine. I'll accept that 100% as fact. So he gets locked up in the nuthatch for several years.
Mm-hmm.
He's not allowed to get out of that place until he's so doped up on Thorazine or whatever he can barely move.
Do the Thorazine shuffle.
Right. Do the Thorazine shuffle.
I want to address this comment by Dave in a second.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, I'm done. Go ahead. That's
okay. I want to correct David there. Dave says they want to reduce incarceration numbers by allowing people to get away with crimes. And just not really a correction so much as a clarification, so that everyone understands. If any of you aren't tracking, and I suspect David is tracking on this, it is not that they want to reduce incarceration numbers by allowing people to get away with crimes. That is a thing that is actively happening. Right, policies in Los Angeles and in California and New York especially, where they're just refusing to prosecute most crimes that are committed by minorities.
Oh, it was only $900 worth of theft.
Do what?
It was only $900 worth of theft. Don't worry about it.
Basically, you walk out of a Walmart with a TV and they're not going to prosecute you.
We have the stories of the people that take their bikes inside the CVS so they can fill up the basket on the front of their bike and just ride it out the door. It's like, okay.
So yeah, and just a point of clarification, right? I'm not saying David's wrong, but it's important to understand that it's not as if allowing people to get away with crimes is an eventual objective. That is an ongoing process. If you guys remember when the jogger, when the Ahmaud Arbery case came around, and it was such a clear-cut case that it was dismissed by several prosecutors until they were each individually threatened by a lynch mob. And then finally Brian Kemp came in and stuck his nose in the business and tracked down a racist activist prosecutor and judge that would take over the case. I pointed out then that as soon as the lynch mob came for the prosecutors and the McMichaels, it was clear that the objective of the radical left is to actively encourage crimes to be committed by minorities and for crimes to only be prosecuted when committed by white men, straight white men especially.
in the McMichaels case, they're being prosecuted a second time.
Yeah.
Going through all their social media
Which brings
posts.
up another piece of this story, tangentially related. I want to show you something real quick. And yeah, that's him. This is the guy that Quintez shot at. This, Craig Greenberg, right? This is the guy that Quintez Brown shot at. So here's my question. Can you guess what my question is? Here, let me make sure you see. Can you see it? Can you see that? Just as a matter of clarification. Here's the two of them next to one another. Does anybody notice maybe a relevant factor here? One that makes it worth asking the question, is this guy going to be charged with a hate crime for attempting to murder this guy?
Probably not.
Because make no mistake, the only reason the McMichaels are being put in double jeopardy to add hate to their crime
it's because they're white.
Is racism.
Yeah. Naked racism. And
you want to point to something you can call systemic racism? That's it. We literally have laws that make it more crimey to be a white man who committed the crime.
Especially if you do it
if you're a
against a
white
black man.
and you crime, you're somehow crimier.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. We have a few minutes left. Can we try and get to DGUs, please?
No.
You're breaking my heart.
Okay. I'll even let you read this one. I might spin that down a little bit, actually.
Okay. I drop an entire magazine.
Yeah.
Neighbor shares story about saving Whatcom County deputies.
That one's for David over on Rumble. Then are we Crimean?
All right. Fox 13 News spoke to a man who helped save the lives of 2 Whatcom County deputies during a shootout last week. Investigators say deputies arrived to a neighborhood on Green Valley Drive responding to a gunshot that was fired during a dispute between neighbors. Remember, it's always people with weapons that stop people with weapons. And in this case, there's like some mimetic...
And in this case, they sent people with weapons who just weren't up to the job.
Well, to be fair, if you got called into something and you didn't know that the perp had a tank, like it wouldn't matter how well trained you were. Like you need backup at that point.
Sure.
When deputies arrive on scene, investigators say a 60-year-old man shot at them. He could have had that old man strength and that old man, like the old men that never miss and can still fight even though they've got like gray hair,
That whole sergeant major said, Lowry, what's wrong with you? Where you go with that musket? I had my M16 with iron sights after a firefight. Where you go with that musket, Lowry? Didn't you hear the Civil War's over? And I just said, Sergeant Major, all due respect, you can't kill a man with iron sights. You don't deserve to carry a rifle.
You hear a shot ring out and Officer Thompson fell backwards, said Cody Dieter. Oh my. Dieter lives a few houses away from where the suspect lives. He says he was outside when the suspect fired the first shot. We got the kids inside and we got our weapons. Dieter said when deputies first arrived, things had quieted down. He said the suspect had gone back inside, but the peace would not last.
Dun, dun, dun.
He said one of the deputies was shot and went down and the other deputy was hit while responding. Damn, that's shit going bad. Dieter said he ran toward the gunshots. That's when I stepped around the corner and dropped an entire magazine at this guy. Dieter helped to pull the first deputy hit out of the line of fire. He and both deputies took cover in a garage until backup arrived. It was nerve-wracking. My heart was definitely racing, he said. You think. Dieter says there was no question on the day of the shooting what to do. Those guys would take a bullet for me. They take a bullet for you, he said. They did in this case. Your dad says old people are old for a reason.
You know, it takes a good defensive strategy to get old. It takes a good aggressive strategy to stay that way.
Yeah, it's like the old Star Trek jokes. Like, you don't see many old Klingons.
No, you don't. And when you do, they're terrifying.
Yes.
And missing
Like
appendages.
teeth and eyes. 60-year-old Joel is charged with two counts of attempted first-degree murder and is held on $5 million bond. There are GoFundMe pages posted for both Jason Thompson and Ryan Rathman, the deputies injured in the shooting. Wow. So you could shoot two cops and still get bond. That's,
I mean, it's a high bond. I wonder if BLM will pay it.
I don't know. Is the suspect black or the cops white?
That's a good question. Actually, we don't know. It's not mentioned here, so, yes.
What's the guy's name? Let's just go straight to it. I don't care if this is racist. The suspect...
Joel Young. That's a hard one to guess.
Yeah,
on.
it could be. Could be.
That could go either way. And,
Steve says emptying a mag and not hitting a dude is unforgivable. I'm generally inclined to agree. But...
I'm almost inclined to agree. I'd have to know more about the cover situation. There is such a thing as suppressive fire.
I was about to say something very similar. It's like, dude already ran toward the gun. He had already seen two cops get shot. Okay?
Right.
Like, you know, yeah, it was nerve-wracking. My heart was definitely racing. So you should hit somebody with a full mag, but then again, at the same time, when the shit has gone that bad and you're trying to rescue two other human beings from being shot again.
Right.
Like, that's...
And we'll know what color everybody was when GoFundMe bans the support page.
But yeah, what a story. Dumped a whole mag. That's Any idea where all those bullets ended up though? No, Steve, I don't know where they ended up, and that is a fair point. It really is. But I think when things have gone as bad as they can go, like, it's like our ascending rights. It's life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. You have to have life to have liberty. And you have to have life and liberty to pursue happiness. Well, when one of your neighbors is blasting cops right in front of you, like, all of that training about the proper way to use a firearm is great and helps, okay? And we talked about on this show before, like, bullets don't miss. They always hit something. The question is just what?
And the way I read this, it seems like Joel was just outside in front of his house, so hopefully all those extra rounds just went through his windows. And David points out full mag is subjective. Yeah, that's true, because
it could be one of those little 10-round mags.
Well, oh yeah, I mean, I've gotten saws akimbo before, and that's a lot of bullets.
Or it could be like one of the big dick 100-round things too, where those are two different full mags.
It literally looks like a nutsack hanging out of your rifle.
Yeah, that's why I said big dick.
Oh yeah, those are fantastic. If you've never gotten to shoot a 100-round magazine, it's fun. It's fun. I'm suddenly reminded of that first time you got to fire an automatic weapon. It's an eye-opening experience.
It was an eye-opening experience. It was like, you know what it was like? It was like when you squeeze a garden hose and you just feel a continuous stream. I know you know what I mean.
Yep.
Right? A lot louder and a lot deadlier, but not an entirely dissimilar sensation.
Yep. All right. Well, that's the show for today. It's 8 o'clock. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up. We're going into Saturday. The weekend is upon us. Tomorrow, I and Cameron and Patrick's going to join us as well. We're going to shoot... Clarification. We're going to film a speech by Alveda King at the Decatur Republican Party meeting, which is at Wild Wings Cafe on Ashford Dunwoody. So we'll be up
Sounds
on
like breakfast.
It is. There's a breakfast buffet
at Wild Wings Cafe. Hell yeah.
To be clear, they don't actually serve a breakfast buffet, except for when the Republicans come to town with Alveda King.
Fair enough.
Or any other
I'll have
speaker.
chicken wings for breakfast. That sounds
hell
perfect.
yeah, I've seen me do it.
And they've got like beer cheese burgers too. Oh.
Yeah, those aren't on the breakfast buffet.
Should be. Beer cheese is delicious.
Alex says, y'all, we need to get out to my gun club and have our own firearms Friday. Hell yeah.
I like this plan. I like this plan.
Let's set